are big teams ruining? Let's not talk about Bafana. Let's talk about, are big teams ruining the league by signing quality players and not playing them?
Signing players and not playing them, if I heard you correct.
Yeah, like the good ones, like taking all the quality players and then he goes and sits in Sundowns for 3 years. He goes and sits at Paris for 2 years, doesn't get to play. Yeah.
Yeah, that in itself ruins players in the league. These players could be playing. And it's what I'm just glad Sundowns was going to do that with the coaches. As you know, I always say those are 3 quality coaches that deserve to be coaching in their own clubs, But then having them sitting there getting big monies, I don't agree with it, But then with players as well, they need to be, our league should be competitive, And then I understand that big teams want competitive advantage. If we took your best players, what are you going to do to replace him? And also the big teams know the quality of our league. Excuse me. If I take Kapinga, let's say Kapinga was playing for Golden Arrows, and we take Kapinga from Golden Arrows. Kapinga was the star player at Arrows. And then I take Kapinga. How quick is Arrows going to replace him, Those are the things that for one club is good, but then for the rest of the league, and you're just watching that guy like, he's rotting at the bench most. And then the league ends up, being in a place where there's no competition, But then when I look at our league, Sundowns had the best players for a long time, And then they were there. They were the number 1 team to beat. But then the responsibility also lies on the teams. Moments ago I said the DDC would work perfectly for teams like Botswana Arrows and Cape Town City. My question to people will say, no, but then you can't replace quality with youth. How long will the same thing you're saying is that if I have this young player who has a potential of being the next attacking midfielder, and then I'm like, I can't replace Kapinga with this kid. How old must he be before we can start grooming him? That's why we have a 30-year-old problem in the PSL. You look, Chiefs is signing all your best players, and then you're there like, I can't trust these young boys. Then you go to the rest of the continent, you are signing a 34-year-old, and then you're saying, this guy, he's gonna be a star, and then he scores 1 goal, and then he does not fit into your team, So if we speak about conveyor belts on this platform, our teams must also, the small teams must also look into that, If you know that a player has an ambition of going to play for Orlando Pirates, and this player is a good player, there are moments where you're like, I'm not going to let him go, but then the moment you decide to let him go, at least there must be somebody who's treading behind him. It does not have to be a perfect replacement, but then there must be somebody there who's like, okay, if we cannot sign, if after selling Kapinga we cannot sign somebody else, I know this young player can do it. So yeah, that's my view on that one.
Maronza, recently Gavin Hunt came out and said that, our league is different to other leagues because you're not going to find them trading players and signing away their best players so easily or within the league. Is this problem is this thing where big teams buy players to bench them? Is it messing with the quality of the league?
No, man. Yeah, guys, let's be honest. We're talking of a professional football. Let's not deviate away from that. We're talking of professional football.
Yeah.
If we're talking of professional football, we're talking of a full-blown company. Not a small company. We're not talking of somebody who's running a sponsor shop. A full-blown thing. It's like you have supporters. You have municipalities involved. You have so many things. So this thing of teams are signing big and all those things. What is wrong that we are doing? What is it that we are doing which is wrong? You understand me? Why are you shying away? Remember, if you can check now, let's go. Sundowns, Pirates, right? Chiefs. Let me say they have all the best players.
Okay, we have them after a
while.
I'm
just giving an example. It is there all over the world. It's there. The only thing is, how do you run your company yourself? Remember, this is competition. I don't know that there's a competition. If I'm still saying Kapinga was a free agent, right? For example, he's the best player for now. We're talking of somebody who we can name him to say his statistics is like this and all that, but we're talking of somebody who was in the social media for the whole month saying Kapinda as a free agent. Why is all these 16 teams or this beside Pirates and Sundowns, these other 14 teams, why didn't they contest to go and fetch him?
Yeah.
While he was a free agent? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Why didn't you go and convince him? The very same way the Kaizer Motaung and the Irvin Khoza were doing, maybe to go and fetch him and all. Why can't you use the very same? Go and fetch him. Promise him heaven and earth. Why not? Is that Sundowns? You know, he has last season. He has last season in 6 months' time. He's a free agent. Why can't you go and tell him to say, we want you, we'll pay you? Simple as that. This thing is a professional football. We cannot. This is same as competition. You have to compete. You have to compete to get players, and you have to go and fetch players. Players, they cannot come to you if you're doing something wrong. If you're sitting up there eating sushi and then hoki toki telling remove fagalo, they don't do that anymore. Sundowns, they don't do that. To be honest, I'm not talking Pirates. Pirates used to do. If Floyd Mbele has left, I don't know if they will still do that. But Sundowns, they don't do that. Coaches do that jiu-jitsu and all that. Hence, it's just run professionally. Hence, everybody wants to go there. I'm saying you have to fight. Make your team to be competitive. Fetch players. Go and get players. You want to tell me within all the database of South African football, there's no players that can fit in your team. From SAP, let's start from SAB, ABC Motsepe, NFD and all that. There's no players that can fit in your team. It is because owners of the team, they don't want to let they want to save money. That's one thing. They want to save money. They don't want to let coaches to do their duties, to go and look for players for themselves, to say, I'm looking for Josh to come and play for me. You understand me? Give the coaches the role to play. Give the scouts. What are the scouts doing? Look at Chippa United now. They wrote a statement to say we're looking for left back.
You must come drive.
And you say I must go and pray for that team. Who go? Do you understand me? Where are the scouts? Why don't you pay the scouts?
Okay.
You understand me? Same thing. If Sundowns has best players because they have best scouts, that Chippa United go and get a scouter from Sundowns and bring him to you. Why don't you play the game on the other side? To say, okay, let's not fetch the players, let's destroy them via the scouters and all that. Bring them to the side to come and do the job for us. This competition, this is professional football. It will be like this all the time. And if teams they don't change, the chairmen they don't change, football won't change. Simple as that. Let's be honest.
Let me bring in Senzo quickly. Senzo, what do you say to this? Ronnie has laid it down that this is professional. Competition is always going to be there. But do you believe that the big team signing the best players only to bench them because the squads are bloated, let's say, is that ruining the quality of our football?
I definitely agree that it's ruining the quality of our football because if you call it a competition, it has to be fair. We all have to start at 1. You can't start at 7 and then we are running. So with the big teams being able to buy the best players and always afford the best players, they're making the competition for the other team. So we'll never have a situation where Leicester or Stellenbosch will win the league. We'll never have a situation where if you don't have the quality, you won't win. So we need these small teams to have a bit of quality. And when I'm talking quality, is these players that are on the fringe. Abo Maboy at Sundowns, Abo Kif Matuma at Sundowns. These are players that can change a team when they go there. Look at Reyners. Reyners was amazing and then he left, went to a big team. He disappeared. Went back to a smaller team. He shined again. So definitely the big teams are killing South African football, because if you look at South Africa back then, we had a multitude of stars playing in our leagues. But we still had a very strong core which was playing overseas. And they weren't just playing overseas, they were playing in big teams overseas. So when you make the pool, when you make it difficult for good players to shine, then overseas teams don't even want to look in South Africa because there's only a selected pool of players. Us as South Africans, we know that Kapinga is untouchable. But if Kapinga is so good, why didn't international teams want him? Because the age is still there. Why didn't African teams want him? He's coming from Sundowns, the best team in Africa, free agent. Obviously, everyone would want him. You look at overseas, when a player is a free agent coming from a big team, it's very fast for him to get a team. But in South Africa, it's not like that. You find a player like Thabo Rahale, played 2 seasons because of age. He left. You know, he's not strong enough. And that's the same thing. I think Khoza and I think Ronnie was saying that when a player is too old, he's not as good as, you know, there's only a few players that will still shine. Your Themba Zwanes, maybe your Onyango. Players will still shine at a very specific age. But some players, 30, 32, 33 is very, very difficult for them to keep up or play in the same level that they used to. So, yeah, I definitely agree that this is killing South African football. And we don't see it because, yes, we like our big teams. But if it was like in England where you support because you stay there, you support because I was born there, I'm telling you, we'd all be fighting that, no, Sundowns can't be signing all the good teams. Pirates can't be signing the good teams because you think of a player like Vincent Pule. Vincent Pule should be playing overseas. That man is amazing. He's one of the most cultured left-footed players ever. But last season, where was he? Where was he last season? You know, my boy came from Maritzburg. My boy. Was doing things. Pelele Ndlovu, amazing player. Ndlondlo. Makaringa, I can name a whole list of players that are game changers. Look at what Makaringa was doing at Maritzburg. He went to Pirates and now we've forgotten him. Now you're signing Kapinga. People have forgotten that you have a player like Makaringa who, like for like, is good technically, can pass, can score, can run. He's an amazing player. But you don't see that because now we are overshadowed by oversigning. Now in the Sundowns, people can say a lot about Sundowns, but why did they have to sign the players they signed? Look at teams like City. They didn't sign a lot. They replaced where they lost. And that is the number one team right now. They replaced where they lost. Look at a team like Bayern. Look at a team like Tottenham. They're going to lose one of their top strikers. But do you see them buying every player? No. Do you see Chelsea signing every player and they need teams? No, you don't see that. So even us in South Africa, this culture of wanting to buy everything that is shining and nice, it's killing our football. And we think that it's making our teams better, but it's not making our teams better because there's a certain level of competition for a player. I can compete with 1 or 2 players, but I can't compete with 7. I can't compete with 7 players playing the same position. So when you do that to a player, you kill them. There was a very special player we had in South Africa called Mashaba. He used to play for Free State, then played for Sundowns. That man could have changed soccer as a whole. Yeah. But he got lost in the Sundowns system. He got lost. Now I hear he's playing in Super League in Kempton Park, which is a very, 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 very sad thing. When you think Mashaba was still in a good age, he could have still played for national team. So imagine if we had the pool of what the big teams have, and then we just pick off some of the good players, your good players. I'm telling you, with the second teams of most of the big teams, we could build a new team and compete, and definitely compete, maybe even win the league. So yes, unless financial fair play or we say you can't have a squad more than 30 players, we need to do that so that the other teams can have a fair chance. Because I love the PSL, but once in a while can Stellenbosch win the league? Once in a while can Golden Arrows win the league? Once in a while can, to make it competitive again, because not knowing the top 8 is okay, but knowing who's going to win the league, young Bora, we're not gonna end up watching soccer.
But do they want to? I think I'm gonna move on to Lodrick, but I just want to have the panel think, Guti. I'll bring it up when I come back. Lodrick, let me bring Lodrick in quickly. Lodrick, are these big teams killing the quality of our PSL by signing the big players, signing the exciting players or the quality players and putting them on the bench?
My mind, let me start by saying it's not the big team's fault. It's the players on their own. They have their own say. Their agent as well and the scout as well. So everyone has a choice as a professional football, like what Ron is saying and Senzo saying. I do agree with them when they say it's a professional league and everyone is a professional player. But when we say they are killing the South African football, I really disagree. Everyone has a right and option to go wherever he wants to go. So what I've realized is that the scouts and the agents, they don't really tell the players the truth.
Okay.
What's the reason why they sign the players, and what do they need them to do when to get to a particular club? What are they signing for? They're telling about the money, the improvement, the big teams. At the end of the day, those guys, they go in there, they don't get those things. Then you sit in a bench, then you don't play. Then the team has got about seven player competing for one position, which is useful for you. And at the end of the day, guys, we must think. There is something that I don't understand when the players they signing for a particular team.
Yeah.
Let's take a typical example, like the guy from Amazulu, Sitebe. That guy was a massive player there by Amazulu. He was doing good. So when he went to Chiefs, what happened to him? His standards dropped rapidly. So does he know the system? Where is he going? Or when he gets into a particular team like Chiefs, is he under pressure? Because according to me, when you are a player, you should fit it at any system. You must prove yourself. Why when you are in Amazulu, you can shine whatever you want to play, and you play a system what you want to play. But when you get to Chiefs or Sundowns, then you drop in the level. What is the problem? Why you don't prove yourself like the way you played before? What is happening within them? Is it the big teams killing their confidence, or are they undermining themselves, or are they feeling the pressure of being on the big teams? That's where I don't understand what is happening in there. That's why I'm saying the problem might be with the players themselves, or might be on their scouts or on the agent, because at the end of the day, the agent is looking for money. The scouts as well, they're looking for a good team, the good player for their teams. But at the end of the day, it's within yourself as a player. Is it a good area for me? Is it a good system for me? You know definitely when you go to Pirate, you've got Ndondo, then you've got Pasika Marco, you've got Dlaminis. You know who are you going to compete with, but you still want to go in there. So when you go in there, you know that you're risking your career to perform with the highest. So that means you have to double up your performance.
Okay.
Yes, I don't think South African. I don't think it's killing them. It's just that it's out of you as a player what you want.
Okay, no, I hear you. Guys, if you haven't followed, please hit the follow button. And also, guys, can I get some likes, guys? Can I get some likes? Can we get up to 15,000? Tap the screen, give me some love. Follow me if you haven't followed. Khoza, I don't know how to put this. Look, are we wrong for blaming Sundowns and asking, let's say I'm gonna use Sundowns. Are we wrong for blaming Sundowns for using the power that Sundowns has? So are we blaming them? So whether it's to get more quality for the team, whether it's to stop competition, are we right in saying that, no, guys, Sundowns must do us all a favor and stop? Shouldn't we be looking at the smaller teams and saying, guys, surely you'd be willing to cash out, maybe 2 or 3 people cash out and say, guys, you guys are my star players. I'm building this team around you. I'm going to give you an offer comparable to Sundowns. Let's say if it's money, I'm going to give you an offer that's comparable to Sundowns because it's important to us to win. Do these teams really want to win as badly as we make it out to seem?
Since the beginning of the Sundowns winning era, it has exposed a lot of things for me personally. You know, what you're asking is that do they really want to win as bad as we assume they want to? You know, you listen to Chip and Pengas. Hey guys, I'm sorry to use this guy, but then he does a lot of things that are questionable and says a lot of things that are questionable. You know, he said that he was gloating about not when I think 4 games before the league ended. He was talking on what's this the radio station. And they were asking him about where does he want to stay in the league and all those things, you know. And he was so chilled with his response, like, no, we're gonna do what we have to do, you know. He's not giving that assurance to supporters. Then they asked him about, I think they were gonna play Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot what was but then he started talking about how much money he knows that he's gonna pocket a lot of money when Chiefs comes to play at his stadium, you know. And then if they win, it's also a lot of money, things like that, you know. And I was thinking, like, guys, are these guys in it for football or are they in it for their pockets, you know? Which is not wrong to do something because you want money. But then at the same time, when you're doing things for money, you end up ruining the standard of the passion of football, you know.
Yeah.
So this is why I go back to that conversation we had about regulations. You know, if we had regulations, would see teams who want to compete in the league, you know. But because of lack of regulations and all those things, we see Sundowns bringing in a budget of, let's say, 200 million, while Cheaper is bringing a budget of 20 million. You know, it's not wrong to have a lot of money, but there must be a regulation per season. You know, we talk about, people are mentioning the likes of Benzema, Spain, and all those things in the comment. But then when you compare those guys, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, Man City are the best in their leagues, even if they have regulations, you know. Regulations does not stop you from performing, you know. Regulations does not stop you from winning these trophies. I do not think we should blame Sundowns. Sundowns, it's not them who started this league. It's not them who are saying that, no, Khoza and friends that by the PSL don't have X and X fair play regulations, you know. They're using everything to their advantage, which is what competition is. If I know that I have 20 million more than you, I'm going to use that to my advantage. But then if there were regulations that says, if you have a certain budget, let's say we stop our budget at 50 million rands. We say, no, a team cannot exceed 50 million. You know, those are the things that are going to push our clubs to be more competitive. And the signings, you know, with transparency of the players, it will start making sense in that way. But then,
aren't we hiding those other owners? Like, aren't we hiding? Why isn't Golden Arrows taking the 20 million that they have and going, you know what, guys, in order to keep, we may not be able to sign everybody and bring in all of the expensive guys, but I've got a Modi, for example. Let's give him an offer to make sure that maybe if we can keep 3 or 4 of our guys and maybe try build around them through other ways, but let's make sure Papi Zotwane stays at Arrows for the next 3 or 4 years because he's of a certain quality and maybe we can compete, and those things help the business of Golden Arrows, for example. Why then? Because it feels like we're hiding them, man. It feels like we're giving them an excuse here.
You're right. It does feel like that, you know, because they are not coming to play. They are not coming to play, these other owners, you know. That's why I'm saying that you end up asking yourself, man, like, when we say the players are not performing, are they really not performing because of the standard they are at? You know, like I sent a video in the group chat of Steve Kompela playing with his teammates, with his players. You know, those kind of things. You can tell from their owner he's optimistic about football. Then you have a coach that loves football. Your players will want to stay at your team. You know, in that sense. Like, let's take a 30-year-old player who's unknown at Swallows. You know, and then next season he starts to shine, and then now he has the pressure of saying, must I go to Chiefs because I'm still young, I'm 30, or must I stay at Swallows? But then, you know, he's going to have a battle saying, I want to stay here because I'm having much more fun playing for Swallows, you know, rather than going to Chiefs where things are, I'm not saying that Dilodis Chiefs, but then when you go to a situation where you know that everything is interlinked, you know, and then you go to a cheat club where it's individualism there, you know, that also plays into. I agree that we must question these coaches and their intentions. You know, what are you guys doing? If I sign your Sitebe from Amazon and Chiefs pays 30 million, You know, let's say the 10 million pays for other things, and then the 20 million or 15 million is here. What are we doing to utilize that 15 million? You know, it's those things. You are right. We must question them. Like, guys, what's really happening here? We are looking at Sundowns signing these players because Sundowns have the capital. But then with your so little money, guys, let's, you know, like, we must bring back the love and passion for football. And it's gonna start with the owners when they are there, when they want their clubs to win. You know, if these guys are just treating it as another business, guys, I'm telling you, Sundowns, Pirates, the two big teams are gonna keep signing your players. You know, we might even sign players from our neighbors because there's no that passion anymore.
Let me bring in Ronnie. Ronnie, I feel as though, you know, at sometimes, like, I understand Sundowns, people say it's greedy, people say everything and all of that stuff, né? But I'm looking at it as, if I am Supersport, right? You're going to take some hits in order to get better. So one of the hits might be, guys, I have Umasego sitting right here, right? And he could be the future of my club. He could be quality for my club. And I know I may be foregoing a signing fee. But if I keep him, and maybe I say to him, you know what, my guy, here's an improved contract for you to stay with me. And I do that with maybe 2 or 3 players. And I build my team around those guys. And I know that I can go compete. And I know that I can go to Confed, and I know I can go do those things, and that could maybe bring me sponsorship and all of that stuff. Why aren't these teams doing it? Is it a case that Sundowns is ruining the league, or is it a case that these teams don't necessarily want to be competitive?
Look. You're talking of Maseko, right? Look what SuperSport did. Why other teams, you know, they're chasing after money. That's the problem. If Pirates, okay, if Sundowns want my player, if Mabuye is not playing, why can't you give me Mabuye and with extra money? Why can't they do that? Why are they always after money to say, if you're taking my player 13 million, you understand me? 13 million rand. Why can't you say, okay, take him with 4 million, I need 3 players from you? Why can't they do that? Because they're not playing. If you really want my player, right? This is how we're going to do. This is exactly this is how I work. This is how we work as a team. You take quality, bring at least one quality to us, even if they're not like for likes, but bring quality to us also. Look, teams are not doing enough. Let me not talk about coaches. Teams are not doing enough. They don't have money. We agree. The rule of the business of starting a business is with the smallest money that you have, look for loopholes all the time and use the loopholes to do it. Let's go back. Let's roll back and rewind the tape. Let's go to Bloemfontein Celtic. Bloemfontein Celtic didn't have money, but they had something about them that they were doing that was good. And it makes Bloemfontein Celtic to be like the richest team in South Africa, but not because of the way they used to campaign, the way they used to do things and all those things. Why can't Cheaper Penguins is there alone at Cape Town, where he is, with Dantani Line and all those things. But he is there alone. There's no other team that's... Why can't you use that as your advantage to use it to get more the community involved and all those things? And then when you use that power, then now you have the support of the community. Now it's not about Sundowns coming to play with you, and then the crowd there will be the crowd pullers. Why can't their own teams be the crowd pullers of their own, to say, even if we're playing the Golden Arrows, it must be full pack? Why can't they do that? So I think the teams they're not doing justice for themselves. They're the one who are downgrading themselves because they want money. They want money. And another thing that they're doing is that they're running business aside. You know, they're not focusing on football. Football is just an escape route for them. You know, it's just to say, if there's PSL, I'll get that grant, and then now run the business this other side, all those things. If you don't have a crowd, you will never have sponsors. Let's be honest, you will never. For you to get, you will see traveling you need sponsors for kids, you need sponsors, blah blah, all those things. You need to have crowd to pull those sponsors and all that. So what are they doing? What are they doing? They're doing it wrong. I'm still saying Super Sport. Maseko went to there. They governance say, I need that player. Give me that player. Bring him back to me. Do you understand me? Then when you bring him back to him with extra cash and all that. So you have quality and money. Why can't they do that? So other teams, man, they're just doing it for money. If it's 13 million, it's 13 million. They want 13 million. That's it.
And that's why... And that's why, let me just jump in before bringing in Senzo. That's why I'm saying, guys, like I'm saying in the comments, people are talking about money. That's the whole point that I'm making. I'm making the point that if Golden Arrows, I'm going to keep using Golden Arrows, if Golden Arrows really wanted to win the league, really, like deeply wanted to win the league or to get into CAF or to do whatever, if they really wanted to do it, you're sitting with quality. You've developed the quality. You've put in time. You've put in all that stuff. Why don't I, as the team, say to this player, I know Sundowns is knocking. Sundowns is at the door. They're knocking and they want you, right? But what I'm going to do for you is, here's an improved contract. Sundowns is offering you 300,000. I'm going to give you 200,000 as my star, as the face of my team, as the quality that I want to build around, right? I do this for 2 or 3 players. And then we say, now my spine is correct at Golden Arrows. Now we can carry on doing what we were doing because we have been finding stars and we have been building, right? But I need to make sure that here's my quality, it's staying. And I might take a hit. I'm not saying that these teams are going to do whatever, but I might take a hit this year. Even Sundowns, Motsepe spent a lot of money to get Sundowns correct. It's part of the sacrifice you make. So now I'm saying, if you really wanted to do these things and to be a factor and to do all that stuff, there are some of the things that you're going to have to give up. But the issue is that if I'm a player and I'm looking at Arrows comes to me, Arrows is here, they're looking at Sundowns. Sundowns has put in an offer. Sundowns has agreed personal terms with me, right? Let's say that, ne? What is that team doing in order to convince me to stay? Because if I look at my team and I go, but guys, I need Kiduku and winning my trophy. I need to go top 8. I need to go top 5. I need to go top 4, right? Why am I going to waste my time here? And the best way for the small teams to do it is to go, here's improved money, but also we've got a vision for this team that in 2-3 years, we're going to be like this and like this and like this. And in 3 years, if it doesn't happen, then it's fine. Go. It's okay. But let's build something same way Declan Rice to Arsenal after a certain time, certain transfers we've seen in the world. But it comes from your teams going, guys, we don't have the money that Sundowns have, but how can we use our resources correctly? Because the same teams that are saying, I can't pay Uzbanbani X amount of money, are signing Abo Parker, are signing Abo Uzbanbani, are bringing all these people in. And those are all salaries. The same thing I was saying at Kaizer Chiefs, right? We can cry about Upiliat, for example. Cry about Upiliat earning 800,000, right? Or you can say, Yazile 800,000, Ingapatala play 3. By 200,000. So why are we fighting to get this guy in instead of going, let's look at our resources and then say, how do we spread this across? Blom, you're on 50,000, you want 150,000, right? It's cool. Billiard is not giving us anything right now. When his contract ends, he's going to leave. I'm just saying, he's not giving us anything right now. When his contract ends, he's going to leave. I've just freed up 800,000 in wages. Now you're telling me that you can't give Uplom 100,000, 150,000 more for him to stay and be one of your key players that you need. That's the type of thing that I'm trying to get to here with this question. Senzo, I'm going to come to you, Senzo. Are these teams hungry enough? Do they want these things? Or is it just us fans that want all of this? These teams aren't doing enough to keep these guys.
I think the best way to answer this question is Super Sport. I think if we all look at Super Sport, the last transfer seasons have given the PSL some amazing players. Some very amazing players. If Super Sport kept your Tebuho, your Rowan Williams, your Tikotre that went to Chiefs now, the centre back, Masego, do you think Super Sport would be not winning the league, let alone competing? They'd be winning the league. Yeah. So it's that thing that you guys are saying, that it's true that I think the smaller teams don't have ambition, which they don't understand is that the more seats you can get in the stadium, the more sponsors will look at you. Sponsors they don't sometimes look at the big team. They just want to look at who has the numbers. That's why you find I'm an influencer like TikTok. You've never seen Patrice sponsor something. It's because he has the numbers behind. So some teams don't understand that if you can play good football, if you can play football that's going to attract us, because you can't hide it from us, Tina. I'm a soccer fan. Tina, we love football. That's why you find the idiski challenge. It's full stadium. You'll find that watching the Philips games, the stadium is full. Is because we like good football, we enjoy good football. If the smaller teams have that mentality, good, you know what, let me suffer for the following 2 years, 3 years, you know, but we are playing amazing football. Trust me, you'll find those same Sundowns that you think won't come, they will come for your team, because they're like, there's too many good players here. Instead of having just Sundowns come now, you're gonna have Chiefs, Pirates all coming to raid your team because you have good players. That's why I feel like some of the smaller teams, yes, they don't understand one thing, is that all these big teams, people can say a lot, but besides Mailula, who's the last Sundowns youth product that we've seen shine? Who is the last? And you can't tell me about Percy Tau, because Percy Tau came back. Percy Tau shined at Witbank before he came. Then he had one good season. But that's the same thing we're saying, that now Human is going again to Amazulu. Great. If he goes there, that's great, because you can see Amazulu have changed something, the management. They want to be a top team. They don't want to be average. Now Swallows, you can see that they are trying to be a top team. They're not staying. So we need the other teams to also catch up and understand that money, yes, you can cry for 20 million now, but imagine winning the league and you get that 20 million in bonuses, you get it in league pay, you get it in player transfers. You'll be getting 100 million instead of the 20 million. So yeah, I think most of the smaller teams are very short-sighted. They don't think long-term. You have a team like in overseas German, Borussia Dortmund. For years they are known for picking up youngsters and developing them at a young age. But all those youngsters, when they leave, how much money do they bring back? How much money do they bring back? Every season they bring back money. Now Billingham brought back so much money. Last season Ahly brought in so much money. Previous years you have Jordaan brought back so much money. If the smaller teams could have that same mentality, that we want to compete but we'll also give you players, because as we can see, the big teams are scared to give their youngsters a chance. They are scared to give their boys a platform or a stage to show themselves. So you give them, buy these youngsters. There's a player who was playing for Pirates who was a striker, played well for Tuks. I think he was a top scorer, second division. They didn't give him a chance. That boy was top scorer, not scoring goals. He was scoring headers on the ball, on the run. Give him a chance. Didn't give him a chance. How many players have you seen from mid development Chiefs? Hey, who was that boy who got an injury who got an injury and never played again? I forgot him. He was playing in the midfield for Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah, I forgot the name.
Yes, that boy.
Was it Wiseman? Anyway,
That boy, you know, same thing. Now we have Ngobo. Ngobo's a great talent. We forgot about him. We saw him this weekend and we're like, Ngobo's a second. Then they take him and they put him as a second striker. You're killing the boy. You're killing the boy because you didn't make the right signings. No, guys. We need to mix. We need to learn to mix your experience, your buying, and your youngsters. We need to learn that. And the only way to win that is the regulations. You can't have a Sundowns who has a monthly bill of 2 million, but the league is giving you 2.5 for the month. No. That means that you're not running your books in order. Where are you getting this extra money? You don't need the extra money. The league should be giving you enough money to run your team. Same thing. Marumo Kalanzi, they won 50 million from being in Africa. All that money went into wages and traveling. Come on. If you had the right players, you wouldn't be paying exuberant fees. You wouldn't be playing. You'd be telling Tebogo, you're coming here, but I'm not going to pay you that man because I have Mkulis. And Mkulis can do the same thing. I'm not paying you. Same thing if you are a super sport, you're like, yeah, Masego, where are you going? Because there's 7 players playing your position. Let me give you the money, stay, let's win the league. Look at Super Sport back then. They won the league 3 times in a row. That was the first time we've seen it in a long time. 3 times in a row. We'll never see that again. We're only seeing it now with Sundowns. And the only reason, and us as Chiefs fans, we can say Sundowns is winning because of money. Not saying because they're playing good football. They're winning because of money. But back then when Pirates won the league with Root Crawl, didn't say because of money. We didn't. We said because they played good football. Super Sport because they played good football. Sundowns now we're saying it's a money thing. So anyone who's watching tabloids or listening to this live or overseas, when they hear Sundowns, oh, I know Sundowns, they're only going to think, oh, South Africans are saying Sundowns winning because they have more money than the other teams. Oh, Chiefs is winning because they have more money than the other team. We should be saying you're playing well. You are playing unbelievable football. Then there's something to talk about. So yeah, more than anything, we are killing our league in a lot of ways. Not just smaller teams, but we're killing it in offering these players a chance to play overseas. Because I don't think any team in USA is looking at golden arrows for players. I don't think any team in Saudi Arabia is looking at as Kukuna for players. You know, and you'll find there's a good player there. There's amazing players there. So yeah, this thing is definitely killing us.
Okay. I just want to respond to somebody in the comments. I saw somebody speaking about Liverpool. I think, guys, the short-sightedness of what we speak about is what we're speaking about. So, for example, when Liverpool was doing very badly, and the owners did not really want to spend money and all of that stuff. But what happened was Liverpool did a massive, before Klopp came, in order to get Klopp, before Klopp came, they did a massive overhaul in the back. A massive overhaul. They fired executives. The people had been at Liverpool for a very long time. They changed to a more analytics approach. They promoted the chief executive. The new chief executive was Michael Edwards. He was one of the analytics guys. He was head of analytics. They promoted him. And then they said, guys, Klopp, everybody sat down and they went, listen, guys, we're never going to spend the money that Man City spends. So what we're going to do is, with the resources we have, let's go into the back. Let's get these analytics right. Let's find players. Sane was 30 million. I believe Mohamed Salah was 30 odd million. Let's first get a team in, and then we're going to build on that team. So they brought in Klopp. It was massive. Like that's what I'm saying, Guti. They didn't just go, oh no, City has all the money. They sat back and thought, how best can we attack this problem? Got in Klopp, got in some cheaper signings, got some sales money from Coutinho. They didn't really spend a crap ton of money up front, right? Then once they got to a place, they brought in all the other people, right? They brought in Abo, the two pieces, Alisson Becker and the defender, I'm forgetting his name now, but Virgil, right? They brought them in, and then that team won. And then there comes a time where these guys have matured. Now I have to go to Mohamed Salah and say to him, my guy, in order for you to stay, I'm going to give you this amount. Here's your new raise, because I understand how important you are to this team. Now, not all the teams in the PSL can be Liverpool, but what I'm saying is, I have 20 million. How best can I maximize this 20 million in order to go forward so that when I look at my star player, I'm not asking you, I feel like here we want favors. We want Sundowns to do us a favor and not spend. We want players to do a favor and stay without getting more money and also without getting any ambition. So when you look at the league, you go, my guy, I'm sitting here at TS Galaxy and I'm thinking to myself, his star, Sundowns has come knocking. Why would I stay at this team? Why would I stay at TS Galaxy? That's my question. Does TS Galaxy want to go win stuff? And yes, in business, we do it all the time. You sit back and you go, I have these costs, right? But let me manage this so that I can get further. If I have 2 or 3 stars, I do better. Maybe I get more fans. Maybe I can go to sponsors. I have faces now. You get what I mean? I've got a face. That's a face. Now I can go to sponsors. I can do this. But if I keep selling, yeah, that 30 million is going to come into my pocket. It's going to be nice. I've got 30 million in my pocket, right? But 2 years down the line, I've got no sponsors. I've got no fans. I'm running the team back to back out of my own pocket. And you go, was that the opportunity cost of that? Was that enough? Did it make sense business wise? That's why I always say business is kind of weird to me, especially with the big teams. You guys keep saying these are business decisions, and I'm saying, no, you don't get Kaizer Chiefs if Kaizer doesn't go into some sort of debt building Kaizer Chiefs, making certain moves, right? You don't get Mamelodi Sundowns if Motsepe doesn't spend 5 years throwing money into a hole. You get what I mean? You can't expect it to just one day. You get me? So those are the things that I want to speak about. Lodwick, I'm looking at the time. Can you please just close off for me? I'm going to ask you the same thing. Who do we blame here? Do we blame the teams? Do we not look at the teams and say, guys, you guys aren't doing enough as yourselves to fight Sundowns? We can't ask Sundowns to do us favors, man.
My man, you are on point. If you can check our PSL teams now, they're in the business of money exchange. You can check, let me put a typical example like TX Galaxy. The guy who went to Chiefs now, he was a rising star for them. He could have helped that club with other guys to get more fans, to get more sponsors, to raise the eyebrow about the team, the performance of the team. What they do, once the guy is getting shiny and Supersport or Chiefs or Pirates is looking at him, then they're looking at the price tag and say, you can put 30 million on the table. They say, okay, this is a good offer. Then we sell you, we get the money in the pocket. At the end of the day, what's happening to the team? We're still going back to zero. All the PSL teams are doing the same except Pirates, Sundowns, and Chiefs. You can check. Yes. Then they wait, sit and back. They watch at players like Kapinga. He was a free agent. They say, okay, now the Seri Kapinga is a free agent. At least let's get him for free and try him in our system. That's what they do. They don't want to spend money to improve the team, to take the team to upper standards. What they want is just only to cash out the money, to cash in the money and relax and look for free things, which is not going to work for the business. There is some other time when you need to go all out for your business to get it right where you want it to be. Unfortunately for PSL team, I don't see that happening because they're always complaining about the money, the affordability. You're not going to get the sponsors. How the sponsors are going to get? They're going to come in, but if there is, like what you're saying, there is no competition, there is no fines. They're looking at, if they're coming into your team, how are they going to benefit from your team? Tell me, from Chippa United, if you are a sponsor, how are you going to benefit? Because even the management or the owners keep on firing the coaches. They don't even get the right system because they don't keep the coaches. So how the players are going to improve the team? How are they going to take the team to higher standards? Whereas they're playing one system 1 month or 2 months, then the second 2 months again, they're under a new coach. They're playing maybe the different system. Under six months again, they're playing another different system within another team. So
while
how do you
selling
want
their
to run
best
a business
players
like that? Yes. How you gonna get the team right? I don't see them getting it right. And one thing that I saw these days, even while ago, I haven't seen the big or any PSL team going into a youth league team of a certain team and buying play and brought it into the first team. I never saw it. I don't know, is it any regulation that is preventing them to do that?
I'm not sure.
If I may
I'd have
ask.
to look into it. I have to look into it though.
Yes, because I can tell you in an MDC, there is a lot of talents in there where if they don't want to spend a lot of money, you can go in there, you get a lower cost player with a great talent, then you brought into your first team, then you let it work for you. Let it work or grow with a certain kind of a senior players to guide them to the certain level where you want the team to be. But I don't see that happening. What I see only is when the bigger team goes to their MDC and brought it into the first standard team. That's what I see. But definitely, what I see now, it's just a business of money exchange. They don't want to spend players to only. I see Pirates these days is coming on board to do that.
Okay.
So Sundowns, they are doing that good. So they want to adopt that situation and brought it into place and see whether they can do it. But we'll see how they're gonna do it. Yes.
Okay. No, I hear you. Guys, because of time, I'm going to close it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Monday to Friday, 12:30 in the afternoon, I'm here. Monday to Wednesday, 8 p.m., I'm here. Tonight, we'll discuss some of the kids that have dropped, because I know that also my team is dropping at 9:30, apparently. So we'll discuss the different kits and how we rank them. We'll have a fun episode this evening. If you are following on this side, thank you so much. Please support, but also follow me on Facebook if you want to watch all of the previous lives and also other footballing content I do that side. Please follow that page. I'm very close to being monetized on that side and also on YouTube. So please help me out by supporting me there. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you to all of the panel members that have jumped onto this. As usual, this show is only amazing because of the panel and the different chats that we have. Parting thoughts? Let's stop asking for favors, guys. We're asking for favors. We're asking for... Linogutle, no, you can come in. You can come in, Linogutle, when there's going to be... I'll make a day where we revisit this. Let's stop asking for favors, guys. Let's stop... Sundowns has money. Sundowns will always have money. They'll always spend their money. What can you do as a team to combat that? What can you do as a team to fight within your resources? Because for me, I'm not seeing teams that are fighting with everything they have to be the best that they can be as a team. I'm seeing teams that are just happy to be counted in the league, to make up numbers in the league. And that's where I ask the questions, because if I'm a sponsor, if I'm a coach, I'm going to look at your team and ask you, what do you want to do? What are your plans? How do you expect fans to watch this? How do you expect to grow? Why should I come to you as a sponsor? Why should I come to you as a coach? Why should I, as the star player of the team, stay at that team if you're not offering me ambition? You're not offering me anything. You're asking me again to do you a favor. So let's move our football away, man, from favors and start holding our teams accountable and also start asking the teams to do more, man. We know you don't have money, but even Naleo Mali that you don't have, we don't see what's happening. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I have to go. I'll see you guys again at 8 p.m. tonight. We'll switch it up tonight and bring in more people. Thank you, guys. I'll see you guys. Apologies for missing out on the comments on this side, guys. Yeah, no, we signed him on Facebook and didn't sign him after that. How can we contact you? You can send me a DM here and we can speak. That's fine. The surprising thing here, Chiefs and Pirates always buy mere players compared to Sundowns, but when Sundowns buys players, there are always complaints. Is it just professionalism or just being jealous? People, let's make it clear. Football is about a business of making money. Look at Dortmund. They sell their best players in the world. They don't even care about the league because they know the players they are selling are more expensive for a league price. They only focus on that to reach number 2 as long as they're in Champions League. Same thing in the PSL. Look at Golden Arrows, one of the best development of the young stars, and they sold them because of money. But you see what I'm saying about it, Dortmund. Dortmund at least knows that they're getting into the Champions League. Dortmund holds on to their guys and make sure that I get the 2, 3, 4 years out of whoever, Haaland, Bellingham, whoever. I get that 4 years. I'm in the Champions League, right? So I'm saying in the PSL, how many of the teams are going for that? How many of the teams, besides top 8 and taking part in MTN 8, how many teams are actively going to their players, going to their staff, and planning and saying, guys, I want Confed. We want to play in Africa. And you know what, star players, Banbani, I'm going to offer you that. Jude Bellingham, I'm not going to ask you to stay in Dortmund when we're just a German team. I'm going to ask you to give me 3 years. We're in the Champions League. Give me your best performances in the Champions League. Then when I sell you, I've made more money than I would have made if I'm a mid-table team selling Jude Bellingham. You got what I mean? So that's why I'm asking Guti, are the teams in the PSL, all of them pulling to be the best? I'm not asking you to be Man City. Maybe Brighton. Brighton has taken its resources, used it very well. They're trying to push into Europa. What is your team doing? Because that's going to influence whether players want to stay, where the coaches want to come, where the sponsors want to come. In the long term, if you don't look after these things, you're going to get burned. You could have made 300 million in 3 years' time. But now you're happy with the 50 million, but now you got to replace the players, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. Was that a business? Did you make money? You can't even sell a kit. Did you make money? You can't even get a sponsor. Did you make money? So maybe that 50 million, that 20 million, I kept it in my pocket. That 50 million, 20 million, I said, no, Sundowns, you know what? Come back in 2 years' time. But right now, this player is going to be very important for what I want to do as a club. And when we reach those goals, if we get into Confed, when you come back for him, I'm going to sell him for more. If he's not helping us. But if you're just sitting there and just, oh, we're hoping Sundowns will stop. Imagine if Kaizer hoped that Pirates, hoped that the league would open up. We wouldn't have Kaizer Chiefs as big as it is right now. Imagine if Sundowns, Motsepe bought it and said, guys, I'm not going to spend any money. I'm just going to hope that Chiefs and Pirates don't do anything. We're just going to hope. We play with hope. All right, guys, we can't be doing that. I'm sorry.